We are live.
Hi
What's up, guys?
guys.
So we had a little hard time trying to figure this out. This is our first time going live, so please, if you guys do jump in and join us, let us know in the comments whether or not the audio sounds good, whether you're even hearing us or not,
Yeah,
because we had a little problem setting this up.
Looking to the side because I'm trying to see on my computer whether I'm actually even getting a notification for going live, and trying to communicate with our friends and family if they are getting our live feed or not.
And also keep in mind there is a lag, so if you do ask us any type of questions or make any type of comments for us to address, just keep in mind there is a lag, so we'll get to it as soon as we see it on our end.
Oh yes, I see it here. Just make sure that video is
Just making sure we set up.
So if you are new to our channel, my name is Irina.
And I'm Devon.
And we are Just Be Out. We have a travel YouTube vlog where we try to produce informative videos with places to stay, things to do, things to eat.
That's right.
So just to backtrack a little bit, what we have been doing for the past month, on February 28, 2020, we boarded a 21-day French Polynesia cruise.
Wait, but before we get to the French Polynesian cruise, I want to backtrack just a little bit more. So for those of you who are not following us and will join us later on, we've been living here in Hawaii for a year, and we've been producing a lot of videos as far as where to go, what to eat, best hikes, best beaches, all that stuff. So you guys can check that out on our channel. Everything is in a playlist, so these videos are available for you. So if you are planning on coming to Hawaii, or you're interested in Hawaii and want to know what the Hawaiian life is about, be sure to check out our vlogs where we give you that information. So now fast forward to the point of...
So a little quickly from Kathy, she said she was supposed to be in Hawaii but now had to cancel.
Oh wow, yes, yes.
Be safe than sorry.
Yeah, and that's why we gave the title of this video Before and After our Norwegian cruise. Yes, because things have changed from the time we boarded the cruise till the time we're now back in Hawaii safely. And also I want to thank everyone who reached out to us, and they were caring and they were hoping, you know, best wishes. Yes, absolutely. And yes, we did make it off the boat, because some people were still asking, are you guys still in the boat? Did you make it off? And we're going to bring you up to speed on exactly how that actually
and why we actually boarded the cruise.
Yes.
So yes, Kathy, this is our first live stream.
Yes.
We're excited and a little bit nervous how everything is gonna go. So February 28, 2020, we boarded a 21-day French Polynesia cruise from Sydney. We left Hawaii. We gave up our apartment.
Right, because we were supposed to be full-time travelers at this point.
We were planning to travel for a while, and we had already arrangements for our travel plans booked in advance, and we did lose at this point some money on some of the stuff.
Right.
So we boarded the cruise in late February. The coronavirus was not a worldwide pandemic as yet, and there was actually no way for us to cancel the cruise. If we canceled at that point, we would have lost 100% of what we paid for the cruise, and plus the flights to Australia as well.
Yeah, because some of you guys were asking in the comments, like, are you insane? Why would you book a cruise knowing that the coronavirus epidemic is out? And we, at that point, it was not a concern. It wasn't a concern. It wasn't spreading.
It was just mainly in China and Italy. So we're like, okay, it's probably going to stay in China and Italy. Nobody really expected it to be spreading out worldwide
and like as fast as it did.
Right, so we actually had 16 planned ports on that cruise, but we managed to go and visit 3 out of the planned ones. And we cruised for the first week of the cruise, and it was pretty normal. It's just the ports changed, so everybody was chilled, okay. Some ports did not accept some of the citizens of certain countries, which again, if you see a video before, you can watch that.
Yeah, because we did produce some videos as far as when we boarded the boat, what the experience was like as we were boarding, because things has changed on us. We had situations with our room. Again, we do have vlogs pertaining to that. When we got on the boat also, everyone was tested for a fever. So they had the thermometer, the red light dot, and they put that on your forehead and you get a temperature. So everyone boarding the boat, the temperature, they were testing that. So
and some people
everyone was
brought
fine.
also doctor's notes with blood tests and
Right, because they were traveling through other countries to get to Australia to board this boat, so they were being extra cautious.
right. We pretty much were able to cruise normally for a week, and then after a week of cruising, everything shut down pretty much as we were at sea, and that is how we got stranded at sea. We were not able to port, and at that point things got really stressful. We were not able to find any type of ports where we could dock and get off the ship, and we were pretty much self-quarantined for 2 weeks.
Right. So this part of the video, we're just kind of bringing you up to speed on how we got here. Again, you can go back and you can see the other videos to where we got up to the last portion of our cruise when we were leaving
We were
Pago Pago,
American Samoa, and we were heading to
Hawaii. Right. So we refueled only in American Samoa. No one was able to get off the boat, not even staff. All we did was fuel up and we left American Samoa to come to Hawaii.
Right. So a couple of days into sailing, it was supposed to be 5 or 6 days of sailing from Samoa to Hawaii. We had problems with our engine, and we sailed on just one engine. I forgot what the problem exactly was. Something with
The propellers. I'm not sure what it was, but we were having dinner in the back, the very back of the ship, last table, and we felt a big boom.
Right. We also spoke about it in the
the previous video as well.
So as we arrived to Hawaii a little bit later than originally planned, and the day of arrival, captain made an announcement. Actually, a little bit before that, right? The captain said we are gonna see what the cruise ship that is docking in Hawaii before us what's going to happen to them. So it ended up they allowed 6 Hawaiian residents to disembark in Hawaii. One lady with broken leg and her husband for medical reasons. So we already submitted at that point our proof of residency in Hawaii, and we were pretty optimistic that at least the residents of Hawaii are going to be able to get off.
Right.
So the day we actually were going to the dock in Hawaii, in Oahu port, we heard an announcement from the captain saying that Norwegian Cruise Line will arrange private charters for all cruise ship passengers to go to their home country, which ideally sounds great. But again, they are not delivering you to your doorway. They're just bringing you to your home country. And in a very short period of time, they had to arrange flights and private charters for over 2,000 passengers.
Right, it was chaotic.
Yeah, very hectic. People were being sent where they were not supposed to go. So, for example, New Zealand citizens were sent to London, and from London they were expected to take the flight back to New Zealand on their own. Even though we submitted our residency documents for Hawaii, they put us on a flight to LA, and LA right now is really a bad place to be, even at the airport. So it was crazy lines for people to go to guest services to try to rearrange their flights. There were people from Spain that were being sent to Vancouver, which is a completely different country.
So because of all the chaos and things out of order, even though people were sent to the wrong places, they all went down to the atrium, and there was just a long line, and people were just like, why are you sending me in the opposite direction of where I live? So it was just a big mess, but everyone was really sorting all the details out and getting things correct. Passengers were very angry, but I have to say Norwegian did a really good job for being in the pinch that they were in, and was able to, I think, accommodate most people. I'm not sure about everyone, But the idea was to fly. If you live in New York, they would fly you to California, and then you have to find your flight from California to New York or to Denver or anywhere within the U.S. Canadians were flown to Vancouver, I think. Australians were flown to Australia, and if you lived in New Zealand, then you would have to catch a connecting flight on your own and go there. So they would get you into your country. From there, you would have to find your way.
But the reason why we were sent to LAX instead of being let off here in Hawaii is because, again, we left Hawaii and we gave up our apartment. So we used Devon's mom's address in New York as just a billing address and things to get sent there, just in case we forget something on board or something like that.
So I guess
in
they
our
used that
profile,
New York address.
Right, we had a New York billing address there, but we did submit our proof of residency way before they started arranging all the flights, but it was 4 times we had to go and pretty much fight our way to get disembarked.
Right, we spoke
Hawaii.
to many different people and making sure that they know we're home already. Like, you guys have us planned to get to going to LA, and we're not going to LA. This is home for us. So it just so happens that they called us. We were about to live stream from the boat because we actually on the boat. After we docked, we were on the boat for still 2 days. And we were about to go live streaming, and we got our names was called on the PA system. And when we went to the atrium, the cruise director was like, "What are you guys doing? You're supposed to be getting on a flight to go to LA, getting on a shuttle bus to get there." And we're like, "What are you talking about? It's been 5 days since we gave you a Hawaiian driver's license to let you know that we were Hawaiian residents. Why are you sending us to LA? This makes no sense." And he looked perplexed. He was just like, "What?" And we're like, "Yeah, we've been down here already 5 different times, spoke to different people, gave them the information.
And
it's in our file."
And even the day before, we spoke to immigration officers, and they brought other people in, and they told us, "No, you do not have to fly anywhere. You're residents. You're going to stay here, and we will arrange an Uber for you tomorrow." So even that message did not go through to the right people, and they still had us on the flight itinerary to go to LA.
And just to make things clear, because I know people were asking us, there was no one on the ship that was contaminated. No one had the virus. No one had a fever. No one had flu-like symptoms. No one had anything, and the captain made that clear, and it was just kind of astounding. And we did say before, the demographic on the cruise ship were older folks, so there was, I guess, a concern there, because when the virus kind of first started populating, it was targeting older people with underlying conditions or what have you, so that was a concern. But on our cruise, it was never that. No one was sick at all, and everyone was safe. Actually, after cancellations was happening every time we got to a port or were going to a port, and we were supposed to book so it was nothing that you could do. And not only that, you were safer on that. So, it was at one point, everyone kind of
comments. Kathy, we are supposed to get a refund.
Yes.
Paper with the link to where we need to actually request a refund. When I went to that link, it redirected me to another link, and there is no type of request. I don't know, right now I was trying to call Norwegian to ask, where do I get that request? They don't have enough agents right now. And
so what's going to happen? I know a couple of people that were actually on the cruise have now subscribed to our channel. Thank you so very much. And they found our vlog, and they've been commenting as well. So if you guys found a link or anything helpful that our other cruise members can source, you can just leave it in the comment, and we'll be sure to post it and pin it on top. So if anyone else finds this video that was on that cruise,
call something after cruising questions, I emailed them. I have not gotten a response already for. We had another cruise booked also for April 18,
right,
and we're not getting.
And that was leaving from Miami.
We have been already self-quarantined on the ship for 14 days. And
right, so by the time we got off the cruise, we were pretty much self-quarantined at that point of getting off the cruise. And when we disembarked in Hawaii, they also gave us pamphlets and papers to say, these are the rules right now. This is what's going on in Hawaii. we still do suggest that you self-quarantine for another 14 days.
Right. So, but anyway, in Hawaii right now, you are not really supposed to go to stay. We are living at our friend's house right now, but we do need an apartment.
Right.
So we are taking extra precautions and staying away from the showing agents and using gloves and sanitizers.
Yeah, and people who actually show us the apartment, they also have masks and some of them have gloves. So again, taking the precautions until we can actually find a place.
Yes, New Zealand people did have to fly to London, and then I think they rearranged at last minute, rearranged their flights to go to either Sydney or New Zealand. So I got a link for a refund for the cruise. Okay, 90 days. Okay,
perfect. So that would be awesome if they could drop that in the description, and we'll just kind of pin that to the top.
Yeah, but that's a different type of cruise. It's a Pride of America cruise.
Okay.
Yeah, Kathy was supposed to go on in April, 4th.
And I think at that point, they were saying that the engine cannot be fixed, or the propeller or whatever it was cannot be fixed with passengers on board.
Yes.
So at that point, Norwegian had to pull the trigger and say, okay, we have no choice now. We have to charter flights and get everyone off the ship.
Right, but also Norwegian Jewel had a contract with Hawaii because they were planning the original itinerary after we were getting off in Tahiti. The Norwegian Jewel was supposed to sail from Tahiti to Hawaii, disembarking on April 4th, I think. So they already had that contract. That is why it was also different from the ship that was docked a few days prior,
which didn't have a contract. They were just they stopped here in Hawaii just to refuel. And kept it moving, just like kind of what we did at American Samoa. I know there was some rumors and stuff going around while we were actually at sea, and people were saying, oh, they're running out of fuel, they're running out of food. None of that happened. We had enough. According to what we found out, they had most of the food they needed because, again, this cruise was actually leaving from Australia and would have ended up in Hawaii regardless. So they had to have enough food on the ship.
And
so
they had extra food in Fiji.
Right, in Fiji, also in Suva, I think they actually brought extra food on board there as well. Yeah. So that was never an issue.
So I want to talk about tips for the cruise because we did have some comments in our previous video. So if you have never cruised before, you are supposed to pay gratuity. Different cruises are probably different, but we were supposed to pay $15 to cancel those gratuities, and we mentioned in the video that we were thinking to cancel them as well. And a lot of people were starting being upset, but the thing is, one thing that you need to know that those gratuities, technically, yes, they are supposed to go to workers, but we actually did speak to workers, and they are practically not getting them. So just to do a simple math, $15 per person, and let's say there are 2,000 passengers on board, times 2,000 times 21 days. It's $630,000 in just gratuities from a regular $15 per person per day. There are also gratuities on all beverages, even just simple water that you buy is 20%.
Right.
So this is the minimum. It's probably going to be like closer to $1 million because the people drink. So let's say there are 500 workers. Divided by 500.
There's actually more workers.
Safe to say, not everybody getting the tip. So let's say it's 500. They were supposed to get $1,260 in tips. So
and that's baseline. That's not even adding other gratuities.
That's baseline. any type of worker would be extremely happy, and if you ask them, they would be like, yes, please leave that tip. But they told us they pretty much not getting much tip.
Right.
And people who are cleaning your rooms twice a day, they're only working on salary. They're not getting any tips. So anybody, all staff that we asked
Because we
about
did
those
speak to different
tips,
people about it because we wanted to find out more
they said it's much better if you tip in cash.
and give it to them
So
personally.
yes, you don't know what those cruise lines and how they dividing those tips and how they actually giving it to the workers. So
We're just led to believe that those tips
Right.
are supposed to go to them,
Right.
but we don't know what the percentage is and really how much they're getting. But again, we spoke to about 4 or 5 different people
Yeah,
in different departments, you know, and dining room, our room steward, and they said they get little or
Yeah.
nothing. So they don't look forward to that. And we would think that they would be getting a lot, and
Yeah.
that's something they're looking forward to. So whatever that situation is, I think we're being a little misled as far as what we feel they're getting and what they
Exactly.
actually are getting.
Yeah, and we ordered a case of water for our room. They charged $9 gratuity just for us to have a case of water into the room. And guess what? The person who actually brings it to the room does not get that tip.
Right.
Who gets the tip?
Who gets the
So anyway, we just tipped whoever we felt like we needed to tip in cash. And they were happy with our tip. We're not cheap. We always tip 20% or even more when we go out.
Right.
So, and anyway, whoever felt like they needed to cancel the tip, we also heard they were tipping in cash.
Yeah. Again, people were really upset on this cruise. They didn't get what they were paying for. The destinations we didn't go, and yes, we know
And it was stressful.
it's not Norwegian's fault that borders were being closed.
And it's not workers' fault.
And it's not the workers' fault because they still have to work. And matter of fact, they have to work twice as hard because now, normally when we dock at the ports, they get a day off. But
Well,
they
at least less work.
less
Yeah.
work. But now that we were on the boat on the ship for so long, they were just on the clock constantly. So they were actually putting in overtime. And you know, it's just a tough situation. But I do feel, in all honesty, Norwegian has to take a percentage of the blame for this, because as I said, if this is just my personal take, from the moment we boarded that ship, there were already changes made to our itinerary, which means they already knew that this virus, places were already saying, no, this virus is spreading. We don't want a cruise ship, you know, coming to where we are. So and then 2 days later, more itinerary changes. So it wasn't getting any better. It's not just like one board at one country said, okay, we don't want you here, and the rest said, okay, no big deal.
It was 5.
It was right, exactly. And even when we left Suva, heading to French Polynesia, we got halfway, and we just did a 360, as Irina would say. That was so funny. Thank you guys for that for the comment and the correction. It's actually the 180 turn, and we turned back the opposite direction. So I think Norwegian gambled. It was a 50-50 thing. They figured, all right, let's just go because that's where we're supposed to go and see what happens. Hopefully they don't close the borders. And that's exactly what they did halfway of us going there. And by the time we turned back around and started going to the other places, they as well were just shutting down. And we were just kind of if you look at the track distance of the map, it was just like zigzagging everywhere. So we didn't even know when we were getting off. So I think that was really frustrating for a lot of passengers, is the uncertainty of not knowing and not getting information. And the funny thing is this, you figure we were out at sea, there were some people, we had unlimited internet package that we paid for. Other people they were giving free 1 hour internet and stuff like that. People were finding out a lot of the details through the news and through, you know, their loved ones at home. By the time the captain made the announcement, it was already old news. Like the ship, we already knew, passengers already knew. You know, it was going around like, oh yeah, people are gossiping, but people were getting the news, so people already knew. And we just needed we just needed a confirmation from the captain to say, and then we're like, okay, yeah, we kind of figured that was the case.
Cassie
So
says that's very interesting about the gratuities. We had prepaid them for the what is it called, POA cruise, Pride of America cruise.
right.
We have cruised before, and we normally do prepay our gratuities, and we never cancel if we get a legit full, cruise, not like a
Yeah,
stranded
everyone was
cruise
really
at sea.
stressed out on the cruise. It's only towards the tail end of the cruise when people realized they were just being bounced around in every direction. They kind of just threw their hands up and said, "All right, we just like wherever we go,
they
we
were
go
able
at this
to
point."
actually relax only just few past couple of 2 days before we docked to
Disembarked,
Hawaii,
in Hawaii.
because we already knew, okay, we are disembarking
Mm-hmm.
in Hawaii. Whatever happens, even if we had to quarantine in Hawaii, everybody was fine with that because we're
Right.
in Hawaii.
And when we got off the cruise, it actually felt like a kind of like a drug transaction or something, because we, as I said, we went to the front desk and they're asking like, why are you not in the shuttle heading to the airport to head to LA? And then we finally spoke to someone that we had spoke to the day before when we went through immigration, and he told us, listen, don't worry, we know you guys are residents, you're not going to have an issue getting off, you're not going to LA. Well, that news didn't get
To the right
sent down the pipeline to the right people, because they were still calling us like, hey, you guys need to leave to LA, like, where are you, we're waiting for you. And when we spoke to the cruise director, we told him that, and he said, okay, well, who did you speak to? We had to give him the name. The guy actually came down, his name was Alex, right, from Bulgaria or something, Bolivia, something like that. Yeah, he was awesome. He came down, he apologized right away. He said, I had a rough night, I didn't sleep because everyone was working overtime. He's like, okay, here's the situation. Give me your identification again. I'm going to take you downstairs and I'm going to give your identification to someone that's
DOD, something
something like that here in Hawaii. So we went downstairs. He gave our identifications to the guy. He took a snapshot. He went off the boat. We waited for a while. They called an Uber. And then when we had to go back upstairs, grab our luggage, this all happened like this.
Super quick.
It was just happening so fast.
As soon as we got the approval, they were
they had a Uber
escorting us to
literally
get our luggage.
They escorted us to the room, brought us down, and again he apologized a gazillion times. That's
the only actually person who apologized, because so many mix-ups that we had on this boat, nobody really apologized for anything.
Yeah, what kind of the cruise director, the cruise director, when they make the announcements and stuff, they say we do apologize for any inconvenience and blah blah blah. But I had personal situations that I needed to be addressed, and I wanted to speak to a supervisor or someone of authority that can do something.
Have a video
right, we have it in the video. That's the video with the fumes in the room. And to this day, we haven't gotten a letter, we haven't gotten a phone call, we haven't gotten anything that says we apologize for the situation in your room of smelling fumes or whatever it was. And I spoke to several passengers that said they actually had that same exact situation. They didn't change rooms, they stayed in the same room, but we decided we were going to change rooms because I didn't know what that scent was. And like I said, that's something where you go to sleep and don't wake up. You never know. Even though it wasn't having that smell when we did go back to the room.
Yeah.
So
what's going on in Hawaii after the cruise?
Yes, life in Hawaii.
So everything is on shutdown as well. Groceries. We were actually really surprised that there are a lot of groceries.
Yeah, the shelves are not bare. There's only certain aisles that have sections that are bare. So obviously with the toilet paper, paper towels, rice,
pasta,
cleaning products.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, everything else was there. Meats were there, not fully stacked, but there was, you could find a variety of meats. Vegetables completely stacked, so all you vegans,
a lot of vegetables and fruits.
Yeah,
I know our friend is in Toronto. She's vegan, and she says there is no produce.
Wow, so I guess it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you walk into the supermarket here, it's not like you're like, what is going on? Like, it's just been raided. Like some of the places we've seen on the news where it's just, the shelves are just bare.
Yeah,
it's not like that
at the register, there are lines taped up to the floor to keep the 6 foot distance. Everything is supposed to be, everybody's supposed to stay indoors. This is Mayor announced the stay indoors order just for people who actually work in like emergency
Mm-hmm.
workers, and if you need to have groceries.
Right. We didn't go
Just
to.
close the
We
door.
normally shop when we're here. We shop at Costco and Walmart. We didn't get a chance to go to Costco, but we did go to Walmart. And again, Walmart, you would never tell that we're in the situation we're in.
We
Everything
even
was
got pasta in
yeah,
Walmart.
everything was stacked. There are some shelves that were a little scanty, but again, nothing was bare. There were a lot of products
And
there.
right now there is a $5,000 fine
Mm-hmm.
if you are caught outside without any purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Surfers are allowed to go and exercise. So
yes, if you're going
cheers to
surfing,
that.
you definitely can hit the waves, which they're probably happy about because now it's tourists are not around and it's just them and the waves. You
Yeah,
catch a
I read
wave.
on the news that in Kauai, which is another island, there are checkpoints for the cars to make sure people are not just traveling around and
Right.
just having I don't know, days off.
Yeah, so if you're from one of the islands and you happen to come across our vlog, it would be interesting to know what it's like in the stores there on those islands as well. You know, Big Island, Kauai, Maui. So leave a comment in the description. It would be interesting to see what that's like. We continue to try to post videos while we're here.
Yeah, it's definitely less traffic, but still
Right.
plenty of cars.
Yeah,
I
the
would
cars,
say.
yeah.
Not too many people are walking.
Not foot
actually.
traffic. Yeah, the foot traffic is very light because most of the stores are closed anyway, so
Yeah.
people are just kind of ordering in. So they're taking it serious.
Yeah, you can take takeouts. We had poke the other day,
right.
which have been crazy.
So what is the current total as far as people who have passed here?
Here, I think
last...
109 people currently that are infected in Hawaii. Not too many died, I think. Maybe 2 or so, but I'm not really sure
Yeah, I'm
about
not sure
that.
about those numbers. And right now, as we're recording this video, it is 4:26 p.m. So, yeah.
All right, we will keep you updated. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching.
Our first live video.
Yay!
Yeah, and let us know if you kind of want us to do this a little bit more often. It's kind of weird for us because normally, you know, we're more doing the production stuff where things are really organized and we're not just like yapping. But if this was interesting for you and you'd like to see more, then, you know, we could do that. We can make it happen.
Mahalo for watching.
Mahalo for watching as always.
And as usual,
just be out with us.
Ciao.
Okay, wait.
And
wait, sure, yes.